Most of these careers are best when they go together. So they tend to thrive when they're related. So musician, composer, audio producer works pretty well. And they make sense. The author, teacher, trainer, consultant typically makes sense because they all kind of fit together. They're not really wild. But if that doesn't work for you, it's still okay for them to be different. One of the foremost authorities on self-publishing is into skydiving. So, self-publisher, skydiver. Not really synergistic. Although, how did he get into self-publishing? Can you guess? By writing about skydiving. Exactly. So he did, and he started sharing this information, learned, published his own books, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, I could probably share that information with other people. So Dan Poynter is a writer, self-publisher, skydiver, about as incongruous as you can get. A pal of mine, Douglas Spotted Eagle, who spoke here last year, just through coincidence, is also a skydiver. But he's a Grammy Award-winning composer. He's an Emmy Award-winning television producer. So is that synergistic, or is that incongruous? A little bit of both. And he's a skydiver. And he's nuts. But that's just, no offense to the skydivers of the world. He'll really appreciate that I said that. So, through some of the things that I do, I branch out a little bit. So here's a DVD that I made on the voiceover world. So it kind of combines my love of audio with my love of video and being able to do that. So it's for sale product kind of thing like that. And then, because I do audio and composing, I've kind of gotten more interested over the years. It's taken me a while to realize that audio post is something that I really like doing. I certainly do my fair share of composing still as well. But being a geek, I really do love audio. And so I do audio post, and so here's an independent film that I've worked on. Just got a little placard for that, which has won about 28 awards so far. And I just did the audio post on it, so I can't take any credit for all the real stuff why it gets awards. But for the same company, Christos Productions, I've done a couple more projects. One I just won Best Sound Editing for out in a festival out in Hollywood, so I was pretty happy about that. Even though I don't think it was my best work. Doesn't that suck? You like win an award and you're like, that's not my best work. I worked much harder on this one. You know, that's the way that kind of stuff goes. And you know, we're doing a couple films more. So, and that's a natural extension for me that way. When you're in a Slash career, you're often starting up new stuff all the time. So often there's this point of, I really want to do this, but I don't know anything about it. And so you're like starting from scratch over and over again. I got into publishing because I wanted to learn about it. So I self-published my first book, not because I couldn't sell it, because I thought it would be a great way to learn about publishing. And I learned that publishing was all about collecting debts from a publisher standpoint. It's all about, you owe me money. Hello, you haven't paid that invoice yet. And I decided that I didn't want to be a publisher anymore, that I preferred to just collect the check, as it were. So you often are starting all over again and learning all the time. So if you don't like new things in your life, maybe a Slash career isn't the best for you. But if you do like the challenge of all this newness, then you'll love it. It requires a good old-fashioned chutzpah, because you're often hanging it out there for everybody to see. But I think any entrepreneur, any endeavor worth doing, takes a certain amount. And that may be just as simple as getting on the Ferris wheel, or getting on a roller coaster. And it's no different. It really isn't. Anything worth doing that you think you want to bring into your life is worth doing what it takes to get there. Period. Yes? No? What I find from the career is that by doing all these different things, and most of my, I'd say I'm pretty synergistic. I don't have any out in left field kinds of things that I do. In my particular case, that might not apply to you, is that it brings a lot of fulfillment. Absolutely. And I can go from project to project and build on things that I do as well as bring in new experiences. And so ultimately, it creates a much better life. And that I think is always a key. Absolutely. I'm a big fan of the journey. Often people focus on the destination. That was my dad. Got in the car, we're going to Minnesota. Ooh, let's stop at the Lookout. We're going to Minnesota. I think I can do it in 8.5 hours. I like the journey. I hate the plane trip. Because to me, you step in a little box and then 3 hours later you step out and you're in a different place. And it's, you know, let's face it, it's no fun. It's horrible, terrible experience. I like the journey. I do. I like to do that kind Absolutely.